Coming up on this episode of DL Weekly, Easter is this weekend, and there are lots of things happening at the resort. A new DVC lounge is coming to Tomorrowland.
Something is growing in the Grand Californian. A new droid is available in Droid Depot. We continue our talk about Teresa and Vern's cruise and more. DL Weekly starts now.
Well, hello there. Welcome to our unbirthday party. For your safety, please be sure to stay listening with your hands, arms, feet, and ears inside the podcast. And please, do give Tag and Teresa easier trivia questions. Well, it seems DL Weekly is about to begin. Have a most wonderful time. Perhaps tea time.
Hello and welcome to this episode of DL Weekly for the week of April 5th, 2023. I'm Teresa Urban.
And I'm producer James, not Tag, in case you were confused.
Yes, unfortunately, Tag is not with us tonight. He is at home resting and trying to feel better. So we hope you feel better soon, Tag.
Yes. Meantime, enjoy my Disney takes. And along the way, we'd like to thank all our current weekly tiers, including Brenda and Kurt, Tim P., Nathan R., and Lonnie S. for supporting the show. Without your support, DL Weekly would not be possible, and I would not get to ask fun trivia questions. Your support ensures that this podcast will continue and we can make it to the parks more often to bring you the latest news and information from the parks. If you'd like to become an official weekly tier, head on over to dlweekly.net/support to sign up.
Well, it's that time again for our friend Eric over at Concierge to catch us up on other Disney news.
Hello everyone, this is Eric Johnson with Concierge and welcome to the D180. While Teg and Teresa cover all things Disneyland, not, Teg and Eric. Eric and Teg? How would we do it if this was a regular thing? Never mind. While Teg and Teresa cover all things Disneyland, in the D180 we take a spin around the rest of the Disney universe, and we do it in 180 seconds. Not, like the 10 minutes we did in that other episode. Yeah. Let's jump right in, shall we? We start our journey in Walt Disney World, where Disney's Animal Kingdom is about to celebrate its 25th anniversary. The park opened in April of 1998 on Earth Day, adding a completely unique experience to the Walt Disney World Resort. Since that time, Animal Kingdom has expanded in giant ways, bringing exciting attractions, fantastic vistas, and top-rate dining to a park already known for conservation and innovative animal care. Through these 25 years, the Disney Conservation Fund has directed over $120 million to organizations that improve our world and save the lives of animals and natural landscapes. If you have never been to Walt Disney World, this might be the year to drop by. You can stay at the Animal Kingdom Lodge for 25 to 30% off much of this summer. If you're in for the whole Animal Kingdom experience, though, you definitely want to stay in full view of the savannah, enjoying your morning breakfast with a view of giraffes enjoying theirs. It might be a few years off, but get ready for some more adventures on the high seas. Disney Park and Experiences Chairman Josh D'Amaro announced a partnership with the Singapore Tourism Board. Disney Cruise Line will establish a home port in Singapore for its 7th ship starting in 2025. This is an exciting step for Disney, opening up a whole new world of cruise destinations out of Asia. We don't know much about this ship yet, but Disney promises it will be packed with all of the activities and perks we have come to expect from the cruise line. I'm sure it will have plenty of characters to meet, great food to eat, and fun for the entire family. I can't wait to hear more about this new line. Let's head northeast a little ways, up to Shanghai Disney Resort. Taking its cue from the Flower and Garden Festival in Epcot, the Shanghai Park is also decked out in colorful springtime blooms. Just like its Orlando counterpart, elaborate topiaries of your favorite characters are spread throughout the park, including Duffy and Lena Bell, characters we don't see too much around here. And speaking of Duffy and his pals, each one has a new costume specifically for spring. Each colorful outfit reflects a particular flower, resulting in a pastel rainbow. Lena Bell, Duffy, and Shelley Mae dressed as Freesia, Cherry Blossoms, and Hyacinth. These are all fun takes on these characters that are very popular in the Asian parks. And speaking of flowers, you should see these pics of floral displays around Shanghai Disney. The park is always gorgeous, of course, and the enchanted storybook castle at the center quietly shouts, "Eat your heart out, Walt Disney World." This springtime, Shanghai's horticulturists just kind of look like they're showing off. Shanghai Disney's grounds explode with color, texture, and shapes appropriate to their setting. Start in the Gardens of Imagination, where cone-shaped giant lupines mimic the spires of the enchanted storybook castle itself in the distance. Head toward the Frozen Sing-Along, and you'll find an increasing amount of snow roses that paint the walkways white. Disney parks are well known for their floral displays, but really, these go a step beyond. And that's 180 seconds. I hope you enjoyed our quick spin around the rest of the Disney universe. If you would like to learn more about these Disney adventures or just have a few questions, please come on over. Visit the social media and websites of both the DL Weekly and us, their official travel planners, concierges. We look forward to planning something special for you and yours. I'm Eric Johnson, and this has been your D180.
Thanks, Eric. Now let's get to the news.
Well, Easter is this Sunday, and there are a few things that guests can do around the resort. For Easter dining, Goofy's Kitchen and Storytellers Cafe are offering brunch and dinner. The Grand Californian Holiday Cart is also offering some sweet, fun-themed treats. As we have reported previously, there is a ton of Easter treats at all of the candy shops around the resort. Finally, the Eggstravaganza is still going strong with 3 different hunts between Disneyland, DCA, and Downtown Disney.
I feel like Easter came out of nowhere for me this year.
Yeah, it did feel like it's kind of crept up, even though it's a little bit later this year than it had been.
Right.
I was very excited about, this is going to sound shocker, the food. Yeah, I know. The different dining that they had. Did you have a chance to look at the menus for the brunch and dinner?
I saw a couple of them, and I thought it was an interesting mix. Like, I'm not a huge, seafood person, so the brunch was less exciting for me until I saw the words breakfast pizza. And then I'm always excited for pizza. So
yes. So this is over at Goofy's Kitchen. Brunch, which is going to be served from 7 to 1 p.m. Adults $60, children $32. They have a couple of extra special features to celebrate the holiday. They have poached jumbo shrimp, stone crab claw cocktail, mini beignets and donuts, daily deviled eggs, and James's breakfast pizza. Dinner is served from 1:30 to 9 p.m. Adult pricing is $85, children $35. And those features are slow roasted prime rib of beef, orange saffron salmon, holiday roasted chicken, barbecue pork spare ribs, and macaroni and cheese.
Now that just sounds like a lot of entrees, so I'm really glad there's the mac and cheese to go with it to give us something. But yeah, I'd try all of those, even the salmon. Sounds like, why not? Sounds like a good way to try that one.
And then over at Storytellers, I was actually surprised because the pricing's the same. For brunch, adults are $60, children $32, and then dinner, adults $85, children $35. I feel like usually Storytellers is a little bit more spendy, so that was exciting. This one, the brunch, there was one particular thing that caught my eye. There is a strawberry rhubarb French toast with vanilla marzipan. Yum. Does that, I'm not usually a breakfast person, and that just sounded so, yeah. I don't know what it was. I don't know if it's the strawberry, if it's the rhubarb.
Or the mascarpone. Who knows?
I don't know. But, yum. So for a full list, of course, be sure to check out the links in our show notes.
Absolutely. No, you know what I like about Easter coming around the park too is it's just the right amount of time we've been able to recover from all of Halloween and Christmas going on for so long. It's it's time for something special to happen.
And it's just so fun because you've got all the fun spring flowers. You've got the pink trees around the resort are in full bloom and just gorgeous. It's just, plus there's the baby ducks. What isn't there to love about spring at Disneyland?
It's true. What a way to welcome it. Anyway, the Disney Vacation Club members will have a new place to hang out in Disneyland coming later this month. The Disney Vacation Club Starview Station, a member lounge, is scheduled to open on April 19th in Tomorrowland. It's on the second floor of the Star Wars launch bay. The theming in this location is really good. It'll be a great place for DVC members to relax and recharge.
This is not something that I was super excited about. Obviously, not a DVC member, so this is not something in the parks that I will be taking advantage of since it's a members-only lounge, but very excited for all the DVC members out there. But the thing that's super cool is now that we're approaching the opening date and feels like it's like just around the corner, they've released more details, and some of the details that they have going on in here are is what's exciting to me. There's an image of Mary Blair's original Tomorrowland mural, which we were just talking about this recently with Weekly Tiers, and this mural is just so fun. It's so Mary Blair, and I think it's so cool that they kind of brought it back. Not in its original, it's not the original, but they brought it back and it's still included in a part of Tomorrowland for people to enjoy. Currently, it's covered up by other things, but I still thought that was a really fun.
I mean, Mary Blair's art is just so whimsically interesting. Like, for me, it's like Tomorrowland and Mary Blair are a weird, mix.
Yeah, you wouldn't think the two would, blend together, but yeah.
But I want more Mary Blair in the park, so I'm totally okay with this. So
I'm excited about the details. I'm really excited to see photos of those that get to experience it and, see what it's like real. Because it looks like all of the photos that have been shared, it's kind of like that. They look like they're real, but I don't think they're actually. I think it's the.
You think they're just 3D renderings?
Yeah, I think they're the 3D renderings. I don't think we have real photos just quite yet. I could be wrong, but it's hard to tell nowadays because some of these renderings look very, very real.
Absolutely. But if these are real, or how the renderings end up going, that space does look super incredible. And having the perks that it comes with of device charging, free Wi-Fi, free soft drinks and stuff, definitely a prime spot to stop.
AC.
Yes.
AC, especially in Tomorrowland. AC is great because there's not very much shade. But yeah, super exciting.
Yeah. I wouldn't mind a better use of the Star Wars launch bay first floor.
Yes. So that is the one thing with this that makes me nervous. I'm like, it's a very big building, and while I'm glad that there's some use to it, I just worry, but it's still quite an awful lot of empty space. So hopefully, fingers, toes, everything crossed, something else will be filling that space soon.
We hope.
Well, something new has grown into the lobby of the Grand Californian. A large live tree has appeared in the middle of the lobby with really no explanation. Mice Chat, though, thinks that the tree is to celebrate Earth Month.
That makes so much sense for that to be it. Because it doesn't seem like it's like a permanent thing by any means, right? I mean, it's a big box.
Yeah, basically the tree's in kind of this big planter, but in the middle of the lobby. The planter, when I say planter, it's not just like a plastic black bin that you would buy at the nursery pot type thing. It's gorgeous. It's
well designed wood, different shades and everything mixed in there.
Yeah, it fits. It's got that craftsman style feel or that arts and crafts style feel. And yeah, it actually looks kind of gorgeous. Honestly, I mean, it's in the spot where they usually put the Christmas tree from what I can tell from photos.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And honestly, I kind of would be okay with it staying there forever because I think it's a really cool focal point and a really cool addition, especially with all the browns and the stone work to have that pop of green right in the middle. I don't think it's going to stay there because, that is where they put the Christmas tree during the holidays. But I think it's a fun addition for now.
And it's a great spot, too. Like you're saying, you're not going to put a table and chairs there because that's just awkwardly in the middle. So if they get positive response and things to something like this, maybe they can keep rotating things in that just feel timely, add a nice little touch, and have another reason for people to take a stroll through the Grand Californian.
The one thing I'm wondering, though, is if this tree is temporary. This is like we said, it's not a small tree. It's a pretty large tree. I wonder what's next for this tree. Is this tree going to be planted? What's the plan for the tree after it's displayed in the lobby? Very curious to learn more, and hopefully we'll have more information for you on it next week.
Once again, Minnie Mouse has vacated the lawn in front of Main Street Station, and Mickey has moved back in. It seems that each year for Women's History Month, Minnie may be making an appearance going forward.
I think that's really exciting that they're swapping Minnie out. Last year, I believe, was the first year that they did this, and this year it was a little late, so we almost didn't think that they were going to bring Minnie back this year, but they did. It's amazing to me just because I just think about how much work it is for the horticulture team, not only to, yes, Minnie and Mickey have the same head, there's a lot of similarities, but still, it's a lot of extra work for them to have to switch this whole planter just for the 1 month. So
yeah, I mean, there's
pretty
details to
amazing.
work around. And even if you do keep similar things, you have to know which ones stay and which ones we pull out and which ones do we keep, because they're bringing probably a lot of the same ones back at the end of the month. So
yeah, it's really incredible. So we're sad to see her go, but happy that Mickey is back as well. So Mickey has been freshly planted, so he's not in full bloom. So he's not looking his best right now, but soon he will be.
it's always just a nice reminder of just how good of a work that the horticulture team does. Like those cast members, just they keep the park just looking beautiful.
Oh, it's amazing. And like I was saying, this time of year especially, it just feels like there's just that many more. I'm sure there isn't, but it just feels like there's so many more flowers this time of year, and it's incredible because they're just beautiful. Well, the single rider entrance of Space Mountain has changed once again. So after the single rider line returned earlier this year, going through the Lightning Lane entrance, it has now been relocated to the exit of the attraction. I think it was just last week we reported that it returned, but we were kind of confused that they were using the Lightning Lane, but they've gone back and you're entering through the exit for the single rider line.
I was thinking to myself, I'm like, man, they're changing this just as fast as people have to get in and out of those cars.
Basically. Yeah, basically. Who knows where it's going to be next week? No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, so it's interesting, again, because this attraction was built prior to, needing Fast Pass and all that. Right. So now we've got standby, we've got Lightning Lane, and we've got a single rider queue, so they just have to get really creative as to how they're going to make this all work. So I'm sure it's hard, definitely.
Yeah, and that one you have to load so quick. They have to know who wants to have the single rider before they really get going on it. So, well, Star Wars fans, that's me, who have played Jedi's Fallen Order, can now pick up the BD unit droid from the game and the upcoming sequel. A BD unit droid is for sale at the Droid Depot for $109.99. The droid is black and yellow and comes with a remote control, just like the other droids available at this location. Teresa, I am so excited to see this droid finally make an appearance.
It's so cute. I don't know what it is. Like, why are so many droids of Star Wars so adorable? But yes, very, very cute.
Not only do they look adorable, but they all have so much personality and they don't talk.
Yes.
But somehow
they're so, some of my favorite Star Wars characters are these are the droids, or the kind of weird, obscure, creature type characters that really aren't, they're not main characters by any means, but they just have so much personality that they just bring so much to the story and to the universe as a whole. So would this, being a Star Wars fan, would this be something that you would want to add to your collection? Or
the price is probably a little high for what I want to pay for something like that, but probably change my tune after starting to play Jedi Survivor at the end of this month. So
I'm trying to figure out how big,
BD is pretty small.
So
he usually rides on Cal Kestis's back, so your guess of being maybe a foot or so tall might not be off. The packaging maybe looks a little taller.
Yeah, because with the photos you can't quite tell. Is he tiny, or is he? He's got to. I feel like because of the price, he's got to be a decent size.
Yeah, probably a similar height to the rest of the droids that they go with.
True. So cute. Well, if droids aren't your thing, Magic Band collectors, you can be on the lookout for some new Magic Band designs at Disneyland. The new designs feature Yoda, Mickey Mouse, Marvel Comics, and more. The new designs are all $44.99 each and are available around the resort.
I mean, they always look great. These Magic Band designs, always interesting, different.
They do this on purpose. Because you just need to have multiples, because we know they got Tag. Tag bought how many right away of the 3?
3 or 4.
3 when they first came out. Now they keep coming out with more and more and more. They're so good.
Yeah.
This is part of my problem with Magic Bands, why I haven't gotten one yet, because I just can't decide. There's too many good ones.
I mean, you'll get to put one to use pretty soon, so you're gonna have to decide.
Okay, so of the new ones, so we've got one that's like Mickey Mouse, one that's Marvel Comics. And there's one that's, oh goodness, is this the Jedi?
That's Yoda themed.
That's Yoda?
That's a Yoda quote, and that's Yoda. Yoda's upside down. His green head is...
I see it now. I see it. But it's the Jedi logo.
Yeah, that's the Jedi Order.
Got it. The Yoda one's neat because it's kind of, besides the Jedi logo, it's not very in your face.
No,
and it's kind of a
subtle.
purpley color.
Yep.
Instead of it being green for Yoda. But my heart is with this one with the castle that has Minnie, Pluto, Mickey. I can see Chip and Dale. I see just the tip of Donald's hat. I'm liking the characters. I'm liking the classic, and I'm liking the colors.
I think the Marvel comic one is probably my favorite.
One.
I love that they're using just the retro art of the characters, like instead of always just living in the modern look of how it goes.
My favorite part about it is the logo on the on like the puck.
Yep.
How it looks kind of like the bam, boom, pow, like the
exactly. Now, if only they did like custom sound effects when you used it and you got that sound. Oh no, we found something else.
We
scrolled.
Kakamora magic band. The Kakamora are the funny little coconut people from Moana.
I didn't know what they were called, so.
Oh, that's fun. I probably shouldn't. This is cute. So the puck part has a Kakamora. And then the band itself just has it's just artwork. Yeah,
it's very Polynesian style. It's super cool.
How fun is this? Oh, see, this is the problem. They have all these fun designs.
You kind of gotta pick one and keep it, right?
Oh, the one it's retro Mickey and Friends is the one that caught my eye of the original ones. That one's it's just fun. It's classic. Plus, like I said, good colors.
Mm-hmm.
Too fun. Something for everyone with magic bands.
And it's just going to keep on growing.
Yes.
Well, fans of the Disney Channel original movie Prom Pact got a special enjoyment at Disney California Adventure last week. The cast was there. They had breakfast at Napa Rose, then spent the day enjoying the attractions around DCA. Teresa, I know nothing about this movie.
I don't either. This is something I'm not as familiar with the Disney Channel stuff. But I just think it's so fun whenever they do these little promo things where the cast of different movies or shows or whatever go and have fun hanging out at the resort together and experience it. I think it's so fun.
And I love one of them has a first visit button on.
It was his first visit. I thought that was very
welcome
fun.
to the Disney family. Now come and enjoy the theme parks.
Yes.
And just look at the face on the Incredicoaster.
I know. Their photos that they had taken are so fun.
Living their best life 100%.
So fun. This is how much I don't know about Disney Channel movies, but I think this guy right here, right? Milo, wasn't he in the there was a zombies?
Oh, was he in the zombies movies? There's been 3 or 4 of those.
Yes, I think he was one of the lead characters in the zombie movies.
That makes sense.
Very, very fun.
So whatever, I'll take the crossovers whenever I get them. Keep on doing the parks and promotion. I'm good.
Well, a post online from a former Imagineer gives us a better idea of the creature that guests would have been able to ride in Star Wars Galaxy's Edge before it was deemed over budget. Frank Mezzatesta confirmed this on Twitter, along with some concept art of the experience. Ely, which is the name of the creature that the guests would have ridden on, could have carried 6 passengers around a small area of the land. This is one of the things that when we found out it could have been but didn't, I'm like, how cool would this have been? And now to see what the concept art, to see what these creatures are. Okay, you're a Star Wars person. I'm excited about this, and I'm not even near the fan that you are. What are your thoughts on this?
I mean, I've never seen or heard of anything like this. It reminds me of what I've come to understand the Jolly Trolley was, basically.
Oh, sure.
And so, I'm on board with these immersive kind of small things to get someone to do, to just have a little experience. It adds just motion and movement inside of Galaxy's Edge, and you want that kind of feeling of a busy area right there on Batuu where we're at. So I think anything that you could have done is cool. I totally understand the idea of budget cuts and the space that thing would have taken up, especially because they probably would have had to have another little small queue on top of an interesting loading platform with the height that I imagine this would have to have.
I just can't imagine. Of course, again, links are in the show notes, but I just can't imagine. The people on this concept art look tiny compared to this creature. How big? This thing would have been massive.
Yeah, it really would have been.
Oh, it would have been so cool, though. I was just reading in the article, they state that the Ely was designed to be a relative of the Bantha.
That makes sense. It looks very much like it, except it would be the winter level of it.
There you go. But how cool? How cool would that have been? I can't even, honestly, if they would have pulled this off, I can't even wrap my head around how this would this thing have, would all of the legs been go? How do you make this big mechanical thing go?
You'd have to. Disney would not run something like this without the legs moving.
So I'm just, what could have been? Sometimes I wish they didn't show us these things because I'm just could just pretend I never, like, just move on with my life and not know what amazing thing could have happened. And I feel like because they've released this, it's definitely in Yesterland. It is totally scrapped. It's not even on the table to come out for the future.
This is probably just the beginning of things that didn't make it too.
Well, remember when we were first, like, what they were first saying about the land, what the land was supposed to be versus what we got. So there's so many amazing things that could have gone into Star Wars Galaxy's Edge that we just didn't get, and this is just one of them. Oh, it's super cool.
Super cool. Well, the Disney 100 celebration continues to roll along with new things appearing around the parks. A new Disney 100 purple Mickey Mouse balloon bucket has arrived. This is a new color of the same popcorn bucket we saw previously in silver. This bucket is available in both parks at participating popcorn carts. I don't know. It's just another...
Yeah, it's a popcorn bucket. It's fun, though, because it's purple metallic, and you all know how much we love purple at this podcast.
Especially Tag.
But the thing that was wild to me about this, it's one of those things that normally I probably just would have not included and just continued on with the news stories of the week, because there's always just tons of different merch releasing, as you all know, each week. Lots of popcorn buckets. It feels like we've got a new one at least one a month, if not more a month. But this stuck out to me because just recently, coming off of our Disney cruise, when you go to, so they have nightly entertainment. And when you go, they have like theater concessions. This popcorn bucket was available the entire time that I was on my cruise. And so I didn't realize this was a brand new and hadn't even been out to the parks yet. So that's what I thought was interesting about this was this popcorn bucket has been on the cruise ships for a couple of weeks now, yet it's not coming to Disneyland until March 29th. And yes. I was on the cruise ship the week before that.
So you heard it here first. Do you want first dibs on merch?
Apparently.
Book a cruise, apparently.
Apparently you need to, you want to look for the popcorn buckets? The cruise ships are where it's at. That's just wild to me. If anything, I would have thought the cruise ships would have been getting like the leftovers.
Yeah. Yeah, the carryovers of last chance to pick something up.
I will say, for any of you wondering, no, they do not have cruise-specific print popcorn buckets. I was a little disappointed at that, but it was much easier to say no to buying a popcorn bucket since it wasn't the cruise-specific. There wasn't a cruise-specific design.
And you had a popcorn bucket with
yes,
you too.
And I borrowed Tag's Magic Key bucket that he bought. That must have been last year.
That sounds about right.
Or year before. It may have been 2021 when he got that. Back when there was a Magic Key bucket that you could get the cheap refills. So I don't remember if they were $1 or $2 refills. But yeah, anyways, I used that bucket. So, well, weekly tiers who wanted to have a, quote, key to it all, quote, pass are now out of luck. Bob Iger confirmed that the premier annual pass, which offered holders the ability to visit both Disneyland and Walt Disney World, would not be returning. The pass was available for just over $2,000 a year before it was discontinued due to the pandemic.
I mean, this is a bummer.
I'm actually surprised they didn't bring this back.
I feel like it had to be a small subset of people who would take advantage of something like this.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm sure their thought process is just buy an annual pass at both parks, but it was convenient and probably slightly cheaper. I didn't run the math, so.
I think it depends how that compared to some of the keys that were available.
That's true.
So.
That is true. So I'm actually just a little surprised by this, but it is now in Yesterland with our plastic key passes our plastic annual pass cards that we also used to have too.
Part of me wonders if it was more of like a technology issue now that they've moved so much into the app system. Well, I guess all the ticketing's still on the web, isn't it? But
you know what? That would be interesting with reservations. Because each like the different annual passes at Disney World and then Disneyland's keys, you can only hold so many reservations at a time. So then with the Premier Pass, then they'd have to figure out how to make it so the system knows, you can hold X amount of Walt Disney World days and also X amount of, or Y amount of Disneyland. And, I'm sure it probably just got a little bit more complicated. And like you said, there probably wasn't too many people that actually had them. But still, I'm sad to see it go.
For those that did, they probably loved it. So either way, I feel like our speculation might be that overthinking bit of it, of the people who really read into a book series for reasonings that something happened, and the authors are like, yes, that's a good idea. That's absolutely what I meant.
That could be. That very well could be.
Reminder for all weekly tiers. These questions can feel like a high-speed roller coaster type ride in the dark, with self-high fives, sudden drops, and stumps. Follow all pre-launch procedures, including stowing hats, glasses, and all loose possessions in the cargo pouch located directly in front of you.
Welcome to Trivia Land, where we have an interesting changing of the roles. The trivia guy asking a trivia guy questions.
I don't know if I like being on this side.
James is like, take me back to Trivia Land.
I like doing my research first.
So how you feeling? You pretty confident? You got some great answers stuck up in your head?
You know, if I get one right, I'm going to feel like it's a huge victory.
But you know this spreadsheet as well as I do. You've seen all these questions.
I feel like it's in there.
It's trivia, though.
I feel like it's in there, so...
It's not a matter of knowing, it's a matter of remembering.
It's true.
All right.
That is true.
Well, let's see how many you remember, shall we?
Yeah.
Your first listener-submitted question tonight from listener Donna S. Approximately how many animatronics are in Pirates of the Caribbean?
Approximately how many animatronics?
I will give you a grace of, I'm being generous, 10.
10.
Plus or minus.
Does it make me a crazy person that I almost want to think about the attraction and start counting?
That's a lot of animatronics to count, I feel like. And you're going to get lost in the town.
Gosh.
The thing that gets me is I'm trying to think about how many animals there are.
Yes, that's
Because there's
so there's
so
not
many.
only the live pirates. There's all the little animals ahead of that, and oh man,
I'm just gonna
the
go
octopus.
with
That's an animatronic.
that is. Thank goodness that's just one. You don't have to count all the limbs. I'm just gonna go with a flat 200.
200?
I think I might be high, if anything.
I
Honestly.
think you might be high. Yeah,
But
I'm gonna go with 125. That might be high too.
I feel like you're low, if anything.
200 and 125, are those your final answers?
Yeah, lock it in.
All right. Your second question from listener Stacia S. Who is Huey, Dewey, and Louie's mother?
Donald's sister.
But by name, please.
So
Oh man.
I actually think I know this one. I think I know this one because I think it's Della Duck.
Della Duck.
I think it's short for something actually, but I don't know what Della would be short for.
I'm even trying to think back to some of the cartoons I watched, and there was one. It was like another aunt or somebody that came.
That's the only reason that I have this
Yeah.
guess is because I got to watch some of the DuckTales when I babysat a little bit. And
Sure.
so
Yeah.
I think it got mentioned a couple of times. So
I mean, I'm
Oh, how can
cheating.
you
I
not?
feel like that's right, honestly. So we're gonna go with
hitch your wagon to
and
mine.
my boat. Since we're
Yes.
talking about ducks.
Oh, Donald's brother's wife.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Oh.
Could also be Donald's brother's wife. Oh.
So, Della, is that your final answer?
Della.
Della.
Della, all right. And your third listener-submitted question from listener Tara F. How many languages are represented in the Coke Corner displays, and can you name them?
Oh my goodness.
So here's the thing. Tara sent in a ton of trivia about Coke Corner.
These are the kicker
I
questions.
think I read one of them and just pasted the rest because
Yeah.
I'm like, these are something else. I will look at them a later day. So I definitely don't remember this one.
I feel like even if you did research this one, this would be a hard one to remember.
Yeah. This is definitely
Especially
one.
all of the different languages. Oh my goodness.
I can't imagine there's that many.
I'm going to say,
That space is not that big where they
I'm
have
gonna
all the
say-
display.
yeah, I'm going to say 5.
5? Okay, I'll say 4 to be different. Now, if we had to guess which language.
Yeah, which languages? I'm going to say,
I feel like Spanish is a safe guess. Gosh, they
I
have
would
park
say-
maps in
do you
like
think-
every language.
yeah. Do you think it has to do with the parks, where the parks are located? Like there's one in Japanese, there's one in Chinese, there's one in French, and 2 English?
Yeah. No, I like that idea. I will go with you on that one. So Chinese, Japanese, French, and Spanish. I feel.
And I'll say English too
Oh,
for
sure.
mine, since I'm doing 5. So you're going to do Spanish, Japanese, French, English?
Yeah.
Or French,
Chinese. Yeah. I feel like English doesn't count. Maybe it should count. maybe I should nix the Spanish one. Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah, I'm
Yep.
thinking it's, it could be either way. It could be 5 for the parks, or it could be 4 for the continent.
Oh, geez.
Or countries.
Yep, the countries.
Ooh, we had good. I think we may have accidentally walked our way into that one.
You know, even if we're wrong, I like the logic behind this.
They need to change it up to go along with it.
Yeah, we'll go with that though.
Okay, so we got French, Japanese, Chinese, and English.
Yes.
Okay.
For G.
Yep.
All right. Final answer.
Yeah.
Final.
All right.
Not going to get any better.
Okay. And your fourth and final regular round question from listener Robert S. Do you know Mickey's middle name?
I know Donald's middle name.
Yeah, me too. Mickey. And knowing Donald's middle name, it could be anything for Mickey.
It really could, yeah. Was it Fauntleroy, right?
Fauntleroy. Yes.
Oh, yeah, that's how you say it. So, yeah. So it's kind of classy, is what I'm gathering.
Mm-hmm.
Would Walt have named it like after someone else that means something to him?
Or do you think it'd be like Mickey Elias Disney?
Ooh, that's
or
an
Disney.
interesting idea.
Mickey Elias Mouse. I can't even think of what like letter it could start with. Like M feels like it could, but then Donald's is not.
I don't think we'd get MMM.
No.
I was just thinking, wouldn't it be funny if it was Oswald and his initials are Mom?
Oh!
But Oswald, well, it could be since Oswald was the original.
Mm-hmm. It's like Gregor, and it's the original
it's
MGM.
Not Oswald. That's what I was thinking. If it was like a throwback to Oswald, and then it was Mickey Oswald Mouse, but then his initials would be Mom, but no, it's not Oswald.
Oh.
I wasn't giving it away.
I have no thoughts. I'm just gonna do Elias.
Some reason I'm being called to letter T, so I'm gonna go with Thomas. Thomas. Because I grew up loving Thomas the Tank Engine.
Why not?
And Walt loves trains.
There you go.
Oh,
I think
there you go.
I think Walt came before Thomas the Tank Engine.
But it may have been the inspiration for Thomas the Tank Engine.
I don't. I think we're stretching it.
That's a bigger stretch than our Coke language guess.
I think our Coke language guess is more sound.
All right. And your bonus question, and I swear I had this already put in before you said it. What's Donald's middle name?
Yay!
Well, everyone knows we're not cheating. Fauntleroy. Or
yeah. Whatever, what she said. It's like FAU, there's an L and Roy in there.
Yes. All right. Well, listeners, hopefully you were playing along and you got some great answers there. How do you feel about how you did? How do you feel about how they did? Stick around until after the discussion and we will all find out together.
Well, this week for our discussion topic, we are finishing our conversation with Teresa and Vern about their cruise. And last week, on our last episode, we talked about their stateroom, kind of getting to the ship, talking kind of overall about the ship a little bit about some of the limited amount of food, things that were not the main dining. But this week, I think we're going to talk about some more activities, and we're going to talk about some main food. So what were some of the activities that you guys did that were not your big excursion, but just kind of on the ship?
Ship activities?
Yeah.
We took part in tons of trivia, which was so fun. I will have to count how many we did. I want to say probably 5 or 6 different trivias we sat.
What time do you know which ones you did?
So the first one was like extreme Disney knowledge. Like,
and did you go in thinking, "Oh, we got this"?
Yes. Joke was on us. We did pretty well, though. I think Vern you saved all of our trivia sheets. They're downstairs.
They're somewhere, yeah.
Yeah. So that one. Tag, you wouldn't have, even if you and I would have been there together, we still wouldn't have gotten it. It was
brutal.
Crazy. Let me ask you a couple of the stumper questions that we had. Where were Walt and Lillian married?
I have no idea.
State. You can just do state.
Chicago or Illinois.
Idaho.
Okay, next.
And then, this one was
Did they just want the state?
Just the state.
Okay.
And then this one was interesting. I will not remember the exact wording on it, which is what made it interesting. But it said it was something about in the year 2000, what was introduced at Epcot that helped kind of bring
it helped to promote international collaboration or something like that.
Yeah, promote international collaboration or something about bringing the world together.
Was that the international student program or whatever?
One would think.
That's what we thought.
But it was.
No. Pin trading was the answer
what?
to that. Yes.
That's a trick question.
There was we felt so defeated after this one. Right? We went in so confident, like, if they only knew. We do trivia every week. We got it.
Yeah. We've got the trivia asking person and the trivia answering person. What y'all got, huh?
Well, and you guys...
we got, like, the first question was, what was the name of Donald's ship in Toontown at Disneyland, which is the SS Daisy. So, like, the first 5 questions were, like, feeling good. We're like, ooh, we got this. We did. We got those 5 right. And then suddenly,
now,
chaos.
Listeners of the show don't actually know this, but you guys used to actually go and do trivia regularly.
Yeah.
Like, not Disney, but just in general. So you guys are pretty good at trivia in general. So
the children that graded our sheet thought we were geniuses, so we had that going for us. At least we did not win.
Children that graded your sheets.
Yeah, there was these two.
Did you like swap sheets?
Yeah,
okay.
some of the people hosting trivia had you swap with another table
Sure.
to go through and grade. Other tables, they just let you do it. So you're on the ships. Unless you paid for the expensive internet, you cannot Google answers.
That's true.
And the other thing too is they ask these pretty quickly. So that was the other problem. It's all verbal. So it's not like you can't take too long to think on an answer because
they're moving on.
So, and then if
they gave like
can't,
less than 10 seconds.
Yeah. And
Wow.
you can't like mark it to come back because you're not going to remember what the heck that question was. So that was that trivia. So then right after that trivia was Disney villains quotes, which I was also feeling pretty good about because I'm like, I know the animated movies and I love me some villains. We can do this. Oh my word. That one we did even worse at. And it was fun because there was a couple other couples, like adult couples,
Sure.
that had done the first Disney trivia that then walked over to the other one. And we were kind of commiserating with each other like, wow, that was like...
What just happened?
What just happened? And so then we kind of felt better that all of us were like thinking we were pretty confident and then feeling pretty defeated. So then we were all commiserating together. Villains trivia went slightly better. It was tough though because it was Disney villains quotes. So it was the trivia presenter just speaking a quote.
Sure.
So you couldn't hear the voice. You didn't know the context. It was just the deadpan words because she didn't even do any inflections.
Sure.
Just total deadpan.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it would be, I'm surrounded by idiots.
I mean that's easy.
Right.
But like,
but it is difficult when you don't have any of the
no context.
like
no
there's nothing to
inflection.
trigger your brain of like, oh, that's
So we had
Scar.
Yep. So we had to say, I think it was villain and it was who the villain was and what the movie was.
Okay.
There were some pretty obscure ones like what is his name? Amos from The Fox and the Hound.
Sure.
That was one of his quotes. I knew, and it was stuff like, thankfully you got 2 points, one for the villain's name, one for the movie, because there was a couple of them that I knew the movie, but I just didn't know what the villain's name was. It was also, I couldn't remember his name, but it's McLeach from The Rescuers Down Under. I remembered it was The Rescuers Down Under, but I could not remember his name. So
Sure.
yeah, we did not win that one either.
So, of the trivias that you went to, were there people that successfully won these?
Yeah, there was a winner in every one, and you had to be dang near perfect.
Wow.
And get every single thing right. So we did make trivia friends. So after we were feeling more defeated after the villains trivia, the couple that sat next to us, we got to talking, and one of the other trivias that I thought, oh, for sure, have this in the bag, was theme park trivia.
Okay.
However, right, we were in the minority being Disneyland fans on this cruise.
Sure.
Everybody else was talking about all their Disney World stuff. And so I'm like, oh, dang it, this theme park trivia is going to be mainly world and not land, and I can't, I don't know that stuff. So anyways, we were chatting with the couple next to us at Disney Villains Trivia, and she was their place to go was world. And so we decided from there on out, we were teaming up. So every trivia, because I think there was one that they had, only one that they missed, we were trivia buddies for.
Sure.
And it was super fun. We had a blast. And so it did work well because the villains one, we actually looked at each other's sheets and we would have filled in some of each other's gaps. So we're like, perfect. Makes sense.
Sure.
So the next trivia after that was tunes. I thought this
Wait, how did you do on the theme park trivia?
We haven't
skipped
gotten
over
to
that.
the theme park
Oh,
trivia
okay.
yet. I'm going in order.
Okay.
The
Give it
next
time,
trivia was tunes trivia. And you know how I am with Disney music.
Yeah.
I got all of them because it was you had to do the
you
name
missed,
of
like,
the
one
song,
or two.
the name of the song and the movie.
Sure.
And I missed one or two because I messed up. Like I knew the song, but I didn't write the name. Like I wrote a lyric instead of what the name was.
Sure.
So
Or like
classic.
the mob song from
Yeah.
Beauty and the Beast.
we
Everybody
said-
knows that as Kill the Beast.
Yeah.
But the actual title is the
Mob
mob
Song.
song.
Oh.
And again, like they're going so fast that I barely had time to finish writing
you just
the
have
answer.
panic answering?
Yeah, well, you barely have time to finish writing the answer before they're playing the next clip, kind of
Sure.
a thing. So it's kind of like, ugh. So that one I only missed like 3, and we lost.
Wow.
And it's like 20 to 25 questions tag, and I
Yeah.
only missed 3 points. It was brutal. It was vicious.
Okay.
Theme park trivia also did not win. Spoiler alert: we did not win any of the trivias.
Okay, but what what was the problem with the theme park trivia?
I will say Disney World. It was some very weird Disney World questions.
Sure.
I was pretty proud of myself. The few Disneyland questions they asked, I got.
Good.
What year did Guardians of the Galaxy open?
Mission Breakout. Sure. Yep. Oh, are you asking
I'm
me?
asking you.
Wasn't that oh man, I'm going to get this wrong. Wasn't that 2018?
17.
That's what I was first thinking, but I was like, that seems too early.
2017.
Okay.
And then it was, I don't remember. They said the name, The Happiest Homecoming.
Oh, that was the 50th anniversary.
Yep. I don't remember what the other ones were now.
But anyway, but most of it was Disney World, which is
Yeah.
But
And
did your
so-
cohorts help you with that?
Yeah, but some of them were just a little like, what year did Toy Story Land open?
Oh, sure.
So it was, and then the one that was really bad, it was what fireworks show did Happily Ever After replace?
Wishes.
Well, see, we couldn't remember that one.
Because
But yeah.
Wishes people were obsessed with.
Yeah. We couldn't
and they
remember
used
that
part of
one.
Wishes for the 50th anniversary.
Oh, yeah.
So I know
Yeah,
that
that one we
was-
could. Those were two. Of
Would
those
I have helped you? Is that what that
you
look
would have,
was?
because we couldn't remember what it was. We couldn't remember that it was Wishes. There was one other one.
Good job, Teg.
Good job, Ted. Yeah, and there was like one or two. And again, we did really well, but these people were, I don't know how they knew all of them.
So, Vern,
Yes.
I know it's coming up on this. I know you can speak to this. Star Wars trivia.
Mhm.
Yes. So that, of our podcast group, Star Wars is James and my area of expertise. And so
100%.
we're going into
Yes,
Star Wars
100%.
trivia, and we had no internet access. We hadn't paid for having the extra internet access for our phones or anything.
And I
And
think
so-
that they generally shun on that, but yes.
Oh,
Well, yeah,
yeah.
no,
No,
and-
but
and
even
I-
if you had internet
Well,
access,
we weren't
no
going to
way.
use it for the trivia, but like I wanted to just like quick refresh my brain on some things.
Oh, sure.
Just do a quick scroll through Wikipedia before trivia, just to get my brain kind of hummed up and ready.
Sure.
And so I don't have my phone, don't have any access to anything, so I'm just like quick running my brain through some things. Just like what's the home planet of this race of people, and this planet was the major thing for this episode of this area of this cartoon, and
Sure.
I'm running like I'm making up what I expect the trivia to be, and like I'm making it as tough as I can be, and like getting my brain going and ready, and I'm just kind of thinking, okay, if I was building this trivia, how tough would I make it, and what's the type of things that I would expect people to know? I'm getting myself all set, and our trivia friends join us, and they sit down, and the husband or the husband to be, they're engaged. He says, "Yeah, I'm feeling really good about this. I'm a huge Star Wars nut, and I'm thinking we're gonna be all right." And I'm like, "All right, good. Let's rock this." And they start asking the questions. First question, boom, right off the top of my head. I know it immediately. My pencil can't even keep up with how fast I know it. I'm like, yeah, we're going to nail this. First 5 questions in a row. We're flying through. I'm like, woo, this is great.
Yes, but excuse me. Excuse me. There was a-
And Teresa did come up with a couple as well. She did
I
contribute.
was so proud of myself. There was one that both Vern and our trivia friend were sitting there scratching our heads, and I just leaned over. I said, "Wasn't that Qui-Gon Jinn?"
Yes.
Wow.
Well, it was what was the actual
It was a
question
quote.
itself? It was
Yeah,
it was a quote. It's Qui-Gon's pep talk to Anakin right
Please,
before
yeah.
the pod race scene.
Oh, sure.
And they actually gave like almost verbatim the entire pep talk, and they said who says this and who are they saying it
Yeah,
to.
and then bonus. Yeah, then
Oh, sure.
And I'm like,
half was
oh
cool.
God, that's I can see the scene. And Teresa leans over, that's Qui-Gon, isn't it? I'm like, yes, it is Qui-Gon talking to Anakin right before the pod races.
To use a Star Wars quote to set up the rest of what I assume you're going to say with this. I feel like you're very confident, so your overconfidence is your weakness. And then you get to...
I mean, there were moments, definitely.
It wasn't our weakness, though. Again, like there was
tough.
like 2 questions we didn't get. And again, it was like multiple parts. There were 2 points.
Sure.
2 or 3 points we didn't get.
Of 30 possible points, we missed 2.
Yeah, of 30 points,
Mm-hmm.
we got 28. And we came in like 3rd or 4th.
Yeah.
That happens.
Like,
Yeah.
just wild.
Yeah, and I had been way overthinking in like all of my mentally prepping myself, getting ready for, is it going to be, what's the home planet of the Twi'lek people? No, it wasn't even that hard of stuff.
It was still hard, though.
But, I mean, it was
the
very
casual
respectable.
fan, like myself, would have, no.
Right.
With the exception of one question, they stuck entirely to the major 9 movies.
Okay.
So that made it easier for the casual fan.
There was a solo question. There was
that's right. Yep. Okay, so they kept it to the cinematic releases.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yep. Yeah,
So
it
they
wasn't
didn't
just
have,
the
like,
9.
There was
They didn't have
one
some
animated
like
one.
Mandalorian question or anything like that?
No, there was one question from Rebels
Oh, okay.
where it was who got on the loudspeaker and said to the people of Lothal, we all need to stand up together and resist. We can do this as a people, or blah, blah, whatever the exact quote was. And as soon as I spoke to the people of Lothal, I started writing Ezra Bridger because that's the only person that would be speaking to the people of Lothal. And the person that was running the trivia actually mispronounced Lothal. And she's like, Lothal? I think that's how it is. And half the crowd is like, it's Lothal.
And then the best part was someone's like, nerds, like joking.
Yeah.
So they're all corrected.
Well, that happened on our cruise too, because we did a Harry Potter, or no, it wasn't our cruise. It was a local thing. We went to this Harry Potter thing, and they knew nothing of Harry Potter, and they pronounced things all wrong, and everybody was like, "Really?
Yeah.
Like you're running a Harry Potter trivia?"
I think they confessed that they hadn't even seen a Harry Potter film.
So it's like, why are you running this? But anyway, sorry. Continue.
Yes. So, but yeah, of the 2 questions that we got wrong, I confess that I couldn't remember the odds of surviving a run through an asteroid field. So,
which was the correct answer? Was what, Teresa?
3,720
to 1.
To 1.
That's
is burned in my brain now.
Never
our
forget.
answer was our trivia friend remembered the 720.
Yeah.
So I said that's still pretty good.
So you just did 720 to 1?
720 to 1 because he remembered the 700. He's like, I just watched this. 720 to 1. Well, yeah. Super close. Just didn't have the 3. Super, super, super close.
You were only off by 3,000.
Yeah. And then the other question that we got wrong was, what are the first words of the opening crawl of episode 7?
And what are those, Vern?
And I will never forget that the first words of the opening crawl of episode 7 is, Luke Skywalker is missing.
Yeah. Yep.
You know, until you said that, I had no idea what it was either.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
So what else?
Tough
So
competition.
lots of trivia, which is
Lots
pretty common on cruise ships in general.
Yes.
What other types of activities that were not your excursion did they have?
Character meet and greets. Lots and lots of character meet and greets, which we actually, the first day, were kind of like, we're going to stay away from those because the lines were a little crazy. But then we noticed we kind of noticed patterns in when character lines were crazy and not crazy. So earlier, like the morning character times, perfect. Go do the morning character meet and greets.
Nobody's out meeting characters then?
Yeah, there's hardly anybody out meeting characters. And the characters weren't out for long. So it would say on the Navigator app that Mickey was meeting from like 9 to 9:15.
Oh, wow.
It wasn't really truly that Mickey was only meeting for 15 minutes. But if you weren't in that line by 9:15, you would not meet Mickey.
Wow.
So that was your like queuing time. So then they would just go through it as fast as
Right.
they could. So the last day we actually hit 4 back to back because they were all in the same spot. It started Pluto
nice.
was first, and then it was Daisy, and then Donald, and then Goofy. So we just kind of, and it was funny because we weren't the only ones doing it. There was a whole group of us that were kind of just looping around because by the time you waited in line to meet whoever was meeting,
You get back in
you
line.
get back in the line, and you were in the line for the next person.
That's a smart way to do it,
so
though.
it was really fun. Some other things they had animation classes.
So like Animation Academy, but
Yes, like Animation Academy, but on a cruise ship. Little different, because they weren't like Disney. It was just the cruise staff that was
Sure.
doing it, so it wasn't like animators teaching, but still really fun.
But our teacher had like 14 years experience of teaching people to draw.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, it
we were
wasn't
really
like he didn't have a clue what he was doing. He was a
Right.
very good teacher.
Right.
Who did
Yes.
you guys draw?
We drew Tigger.
Oh.
And
they
very
didn't announce
passable Tiggers.
They didn't announce the characters ahead of time, so you didn't know who the character was until you arrived. There was also, what was the other thing? Oh, this was an unexpected highlight of the trip.
Okay.
We went because I just needed to know what it was, because there were some activities, like all the trivia, most of the trivia, and most of the animation was all ages, so families could go. But some of the things were adult only, and there was one on there that I just needed to know what it was. It was adult crafts. I'm like, what? What are let's do it. What are adult crafts? So we went and we go in, and the cast member, we kind of go in and there's like nobody in there. We got there early, and there was just this cast member kind of like had his head down. He was on the other side of this like half wall thing, and then he kind of popped his head up. He's like, "Oh, are you guys here for adult craft?" And we're like, "We are." And he's like, "It's the most ridiculous but amazing thing. I'm so mesmerized by it." And
this is the cast member.
Yes, this
The
is
cast member.
And what it was. He was 100% right. It was ridiculous.
And he's from South Wales.
Yes, and he's
so
from South
as you
Wales.
picture him speaking, give it the South Wales accent.
Okay.
And so what it is there are these masks, like these character masks. This is 100% like a grade school craft activity.
Okay.
Oh,
that
no,
they're
this is like preschool.
yeah, I mean,
Okay.
it is not advanced whatsoever. It's that stuff it's got black on top of it, and you use a wooden thing, a wooden stick, and you scratch it
Okay.
off, and then it reveals colorful stuff underneath. So you scratch the black to reveal the colorful.
Sure.
Very basic,
Sure.
but it was all sorts of weird characters. There was like a reindeer. I had this like weird butterfly thing. Vern
Sure.
had a bunny. There was like one that looked like a jellyfish. I mean, there was
Okay.
just the most random array of things. And he was just he just thought this was so funny and so ridiculous. And he was just like hilarious. So he's trying to describe characters to people. He's trying to describe this and like make it sound exciting to people as they come in. And then he's trying to like, see, you could be this. And like these people are like, we're school teachers. Like, we do this all the time with our kids. And then he's like, what do you think? Do you think this is a penguin? They're like, no, that's a dog. Or, like he couldn't he's like, apparently I don't even know my animal. Anyways, he was absolutely hilarious. His
Sure.
name.
This one looks like a zebra.
Yeah.
And
Zebra.
people are like,
Zebra.
what's a
It
zebra?
was so
I don't know. How
cute.
do you pronounce it?
And then like people would finish their masks and just put them on, and he would just crack up. He would just crack up laughing, and then he kind of kept
I
going
put
on.
mine on. He's walking past, and he turns and looks at me, does a double take. He says, "Oh my God, that is horrifying."
I mean, it was just, and then he's just talking and like entertaining people while they're doing their little craft, because otherwise it would have been quiet and awkward. And he was talking, he's like, wouldn't it be really funny if we all put on our masks and we walk over to the kids club and we just pretend we're character meet and greets, and like, I mean, just like he's like, I'm not advising that we go scare the children, but wouldn't it be fun? and then he was telling us he was actually that was only his 6th day on the magic. He had previously been on I think it was the fantasy, maybe. He was on a different ship, and so he just switched ships. And so every time another crew member would walk through, we were in O'Gill's pub, he would kind of stop talking. He's like, I don't know why, but I always get scared when they walk past, like I'm gonna get in trouble. Oh, he was just hilarious. He was just an absolute hoot. We finished our craft and just sat in there.
What's his name?
His name? I don't remember his full name. He told us his full name because he was telling us, like, I'll tell you
he said
about
that
myself.
he has the world record longest name.
Second longest name, I think.
Yeah, which I don't think that's actually true, but
Yeah,
it was a
he
good
made-
story.
yeah.
Because as much as we can remember of his name, because he told the story of how he got his name,
Mm-hmm.
his mother is Italian and his father
Is a fan.
is half Irish, half English, or something like that.
And a
but,
fan of a certain
and,
something that you'll
and a
understand.
huge fan of a particular genre of sci-fi, which we'll get into when you start hearing his name.
Okay.
So what we remember of his name, coming from his Italian mother and his Irish father, who's a fan of a certain genre, we remember that his name is Ricardo Patrick Stewart. And then there's like 3 or 4 more names after that.
Yeah.
And he just rattles them all off super
Oh,
fast.
he was so fun. He just
Well,
put-
Ricardo Patrick Stewart, whatever the last is, apparently if you're going to be if anybody's listening to this and going to be on the Magic soon, go find him.
You need to meet Ricardo Patrick Stewart.
Did
He was
Ricardo
just
Patrick
a
Stewart
hoot.
ever tell you why it's adult crafting? Because is it just
like adults
without
only.
kids?
Yeah,
Okay.
no
Yeah,
kids.
just that
Yeah,
there
'cause
aren't any kids
it was,
there,
yeah,
and
no
that you
kids.
can do your own
But
thing,
he was
have
just
a
so
cocktail.
funny because he's like, why is this the adult craft? Like he was so funny. Oh, and then
I want to
the
do this now.
entire rest of the trip, every time we saw him, we just like it took us back to that, and it was like there was like this unwritten club of people that had attended that
Sure.
adult craft, because we would then be walking and see people with their masks. Like,
Oh, and people use
ridiculous.
magnets to put their
Yeah,
masks
so then-
on their
yeah, so,
doors,
like-
so that we put our mask on
we
our
put
door.
mask on our door, so we all knew who each other were.
Do you
Oh
have
my
this
gosh.
mask? Is it
I
down?
have
Oh, yeah.
the
Okay,
mask.
I
we
want
still
to
have
ask
it.
Of course, the mask needed to come back
Okay.
with us. They were the most ridiculous things.
Do you have a
but
photo
he
of this?
made
I'm
it-
just trying to imagine this.
Mm-mm.
Yes, actually, I can send it to you. Tag.
Thank
he
you.
made it so incredibly fun. Like, and that was the thing about the cruise. We haven't even talked about this yet, but that was the biggest thing about the cruise, right? We've experienced Disney magic and
Mhm.
wonderful cast members before. This was somehow like some other level. Every cast member interaction that we had was amazing. Then you had
Oh,
people
absolutely top
like
notch.
Ricardo who just like made something out of kind of nothing, really.
Sure.
And it was just incredible, just absolutely incredible. Somehow our servers and our room attendant, we told them our names once, and
Oh,
like 5
mhm.
minutes later they had it. They were meeting us the next morning. Like we ran into our server at Cabanas the next morning. She's like, "Oh, Teresa and Vern, how are you?" I'm like, "How did you?
You know what's
how
crazy?
Did you do that?"
The very first time I went on a cruise, as we walked to our room for the first time, we've never met our cabin steward. Oh, James Tang, how are you? We're like, we don't know who you are. How do you know us?
Yeah.
And every time we saw him, he would use our names, and that's just how it was.
Yeah,
and so
this was this too, and
it's
I
amazing.
was just like floored. I was
Yeah.
just, it was wild. And then same thing, like we would like other cast, they wouldn't get to know our names, but they would remember us from different
Yeah.
activities and whatnot, and just amazing. So we were there celebrating we kind of did a mixed celebration. It was our first our first ever cruise, B, kind of sort of our honeymoon, because we just did of course the destination wedding at Disneyland, and then we did an extension off of that to do a little bit more, but we never did any other true honeymoon, just us trip. So be our honeymoon. It was also
Sure.
our 1-year anniversary trip, and so
This trip's doing a lot of heavy lifting.
a lot of heavy, lots on this trip. So they knew that it was the honeymoon / 1-year anniversary. But so the first night when we came into our stateroom after having dinner, of course we had our fun little towel origami. It was
Sure.
a crab. And we had our little chocolates on there too. Well, then further in the room on the desk, we found a card, and we opened the card. And it had this really nice like Disney Cruise Line sticker emblem logo on it.
Sure.
We opened the card, and it was from the captain and the cruise director thanking us for
Oh.
choosing Disney Cruise Line to like celebrate like our happily ever after or something like that. I'm
Sure.
like, oh wow, that's really sweet. Oh, that was really nice. I was already impressed with just the towel origami. Now we've got this nice personalized card. Night number 2, we walk into our stateroom, and we have towel origami that's 2 swans,
Aw.
fresh rose petals all over our bed, and another little card celebrating us and thanking us and
Wow.
whatever. Night number 3 was kind of funny because before we went to dinner, Vern went to use the restroom, and the toilet, like there's a button that you push and the button wasn't working. So we called down to guest service and said, hey, for some reason the toilet's like not even trying to flush. We're so sorry, we'll send a plumber. And, we said, we're on our way to dinner,
Whatever.
no problem. So because they basically said, as long as you don't have your do not disturb sign out, they can come take care of it. So we went to dinner, came back, toilet was flooded. Like that's all we needed. Toilet was working, no problem, went to bed. Next morning we get up. Vern was getting up to run every morning. And there's a card in our little fish extender from Disney, and we open it. It was like 7 a.m. that we wake up and see this card's there. Open the card, and it's, hey, sorry we missed you while you're out having fun. Please give guest services a call as soon as you can. And so I'm thinking, is there something wrong with like the card on file? Like,
Sure.
this is weird. So Vern gave them a call while I was getting ready, and they were just checking in to make sure that everything was working with our bathroom. And we're like, oh yeah, no, everything's great. No problems with it. Thanks for checking in. Bye. Then that evening we come back to our hotel or our stateroom. We have yet another towel origami. And on my side of the bed is this giant bag full of goodies. There's 2 big full-size bags of popcorn in there and 4 Mickey Rice Krispie treats in it with a little note on there from guest services apologizing for the inconvenience that they had to send somebody to fix our bathroom for us. And I'm just like, there's no thinking to myself, there was no inconvenience here. I've had much worse experiences with things like air conditioners not working on very hot days in hotel rooms that we paid for, and they were just kind of like, sorry, this wasn't an we've had inconveniences and had nothing, and this was not even an inconvenience, and you've already went above and beyond by checking in with us to make sure it worked. So the magic was just incredible.
Well, you get what you pay for, right? Like something goes wrong, they're definitely making up for it. Disney magic and everything. Yeah, totally.
I mean, just incredible. Like the fact that we got like our anniversary honeymoon was celebrated, and then they also did like a special thing at dinner that night for us too. So it's just wild, just amazing.
So I got 2 questions. One's for you, one's for Vern. So the question for you is, I know that when we travel, and basically when you travel anywhere, you don't like when people come in your room and stuff and do cleaning and stuff. How is that for you? Because I know that the people came in and did all that.
Didn't mind whatsoever.
What makes that different than like the hotel?
I don't know.
Just something different?
I think probably because you have that personal connection with your stateroom host.
Sure.
So it's not like you don't feel like it's just a stranger that's going in there and
you literally never see.
That you never see. Yeah. You had, because like we bumped into him in the hallway, I don't know how many different times, and he'd be like, oh, how was the show? Or how was dinner? He'd have all these little mini conversations with him. He was a super, super nice, sweet guy.
So my question for Vern.
Yeah.
Running. I know there was something you were concerned about on the ship.
Yes.
So what were you concerned about, and what was the reality?
So for any listeners that haven't ever heard about this, I am what's known in the running community as a streak runner or a streaker. I have maintained a continuous streak of running 1 continuous mile every calendar day for over 9.5 years now.
Fully clothed, not that type of streaker.
Yes, fully clothed, not that type of streaker, but or at least clothed to the legal requirements. On really hot days, there might be a shirtlessness. But anyway, so I've, for 9.5 years, I've gotten in at least 1 continuous mile every calendar day. And coming into the cruise, I was thinking, well, how am I going to get in my mile-long run? And everybody assured me, oh, there are people that have to work out every day. There's accommodations. You'll be able to run. And I was like, yeah, sure. There might be a treadmill in the gym, but I hate treadmills. I don't want to have to do that if I can avoid it. And then somebody said, no, you can run laps around what's known as the promenade deck. There is a loop track that you can run around, and there'll be a sign saying how many laps equal a mile. You'll be fine. I'm like, oh, all right, cool. So one of the first things that I looked for as soon as we got on the ship, I found the sign that said 3 laps equals a mile. I'm like, all right, good. Now I know. So our first morning that we woke up on the ship, we're out at sea, and I got up and I went up to the promenade deck, deck 4, and went out on the outside and started running and put in 6 laps, the equivalent of 2 miles, even though my GPS watch said that I had gone over 5 miles, because as the ship is going forward, I'm also running, and so it all adds up that way. But yeah, I was able to still get in my run, and it was a nice loop. I mean, 0.3 of a mile, it wasn't enough, going around corners that I was racking up my knees or anything. And because of how it followed the contours of the ship, there was an area where it went down into where the ropes, the rigging and whatnot of how they tie off to shore, all of that comes up, and so the track had to go down into that area. So I had a little bit of a downhill slope and then a little bit of an uphill coming back up out of there. So it wasn't just completely flat for the entirety of the loop. I actually did get a little bit of terrain change, so kept it varied and interesting. And because I did it at the same time, the same time of day every morning, I actually got to know some people that were always out, and there was a gentleman that was out watching the sunrise every morning, so I'd see him every day, and we got used to seeing each other, and we'd, hey, good morning, good to see you again, just catch the sunrise right, so good. Glad you enjoyed it. All right, well, have a good day. So yeah, it was very nice. I was able to get in my run every morning, and that was an important thing for my routine and for me to be able to keep doing my thing that I enjoy to do.
It is interesting because James and I were doing a running thing when we went on our last cruise. And you're right, the GPS gets weird because it tracks you, but the ship is moving.
Yeah.
So there were times, I think, with our thing that was saying that we were running like crazy fast, because when we were running with the ship, it's like, oh, you're going really fast.
Yep.
But then when you're running on the other side going towards the back, it's like you're going really slow.
I was either going 3-minute mile pace or 13-minute mile pace, depending which direction I was going.
And what's really funny is our watches, because we do our stuff on our watch. Our watches were like, are you still running? And we're like, yes, we're still running. But because it was using the GPS for that part, it's like, okay.
Mm-hmm.
But it is fun to look at the maps afterwards, and you're like, man, anybody look at this and follow me. This is just weird. And then when you look at it, it's literally like middle of the ocean.
Yep. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So it was a good experience. Wasn't a problem for you running.
No,
Everything was
I was
good.
able to keep to my normal routine, and
And there is also a gym. So if treadmills are more your thing, or you don't want to run laps, or you want to do some weightlifting or whatever, there is also a gym that's available.
The other problem that we ran into, and I don't know, I was curious to find out about this from you about the cruise ship there, is when we would run, sometimes people also use that track for walking, and they're supposed to stay to one side or whatever, but people are always not the best at that. Did you have any problems with that, or was it always pretty clear?
I mean, the few people that I did come across, everybody followed normal public track etiquette. Keep to the inside, allow faster people to pass you. If you're coming up behind somebody, give them the on your left, and when I did
on brand.
Yes. If somebody gave me the on your left, I pulled over for them. If I gave somebody the same, they would pull over for me. I mean, one time I caught up to a group of people that were walking 3 abreast, and they didn't hear me coming, and then they got all scattered and, we don't know where to go. And I'm like, I told you I'm coming on your left. You just move to the right. But that was one occurrence out of however many laps I actually ran.
That's awesome.
Yeah, 6 laps a day, 4 days. I mean, I put in plenty of laps, and only one time did anybody actually get in my way. It was fine. People know how it works. Everybody's good,
All right, the final big topic: dinner, food. Let's talk about that. So your first night, you had Rapunzel. What was that?
Yep.
So you talked a little bit about that last episode.
Yeah, first night was Rapunzel's Royal Table. And so when you do a Disney cruise, they kind of ask you things. We opted, and I'm so happy that we went this way. You could choose if you wanted and say you preferred to have a table to yourself.
Sure.
Since we're a group of 2. We did not. We got paired up with another couple, and
did you stick with that couple throughout?
We were with that couple the entire time, and we became fast friends. So we have trivia friends now from the cruise, and we also have dinner friends now from the cruise. We had an absolute blast with them. We had a server, and then we also had an assistant server, as well as a head server. The server and assistant server, phenomenal. So much fun. I think because we had late dining, you could almost see a shift in their personalities. They like from work mode into like the more relaxed mode, because late dining, it's late. It starts at 8:15. So a lot of people that had families that were doing late dining kind of wanted to get like in and out and get on with their night, go to bed, whatever. So halfway through our meal, we would kind of look up and realize that like half of the restaurant had emptied out.
Sure.
And about that time is then when our server, Betty and Daniel, kind of got a little like more like relaxed and loose and fun.
Because they weren't attending to as many
they
people.
They didn't have as many things to be watching and be worried about, but super fun. They did like, so the first night was actually one of our table friends' birthdays.
Oh.
So they did a little birthday thing. Daniel, we about fell out of our chairs. Grabbed one of the lids that they put on the food. So it's like this big silver round thing, and one of the giant pepper grinders, and made himself a guitar as they were singing her happy birthday. And then later came by and asked if she would prefer Minnie Mouse or a duck. and did like little art with the napkin. So he made a little what looked like a rubber duck out of the napkin.
Sure.
And then he also made her the Minnie Mouse thing. It looked like a bow. So then he
Sure.
put it on her head and it looked like she was wearing a bow like Minnie Mouse. So it was very cute. But back to the food. Phenomenal. And the thing that was great was there was so many good choices, and the portion size that they did, especially for appetizers and for desserts, was pretty small. So if there were two things that were piquing your interest that you wanted to try, it didn't feel like ordering the two things you'd be wasting a bunch of food because so one of the nights was, what did I order this? Oh, this first night I only did one. I did a charcuterie board because the other things on the menu were either seafood or had mushrooms and I couldn't have. But the charcuterie board was really nice. Vern had a tuna tartare, which is usually not my thing, and I had a bite of his and it was amazing. Absolutely amazing. I ate my all of the steak that I wanted. I had so much steak. Salads were amazing. Desserts, though, every night we had at least 3 desserts.
Okay.
At least.
Not each of us. We
not
shared.
Each. We would share.
Oh, okay.
3, sometimes 4
Was
desserts.
there a dessert that was the dessert overall?
There was a creme brulee cheesecake and a creme brulee that were both very, very good. It's hard because honestly, there was only one dessert I didn't enjoy.
Okay, what was that?
There was a chocolate souffle.
Oh, really? You didn't like the chocolate souffle?
I was not a fan. It was too eggy
Oh, okay.
for me, and I'm not an egg fan. But
So what were your mains? What did you have for mains? Then we can find out from Vern what his mains were, just in general, over the few nights.
First.
By the way,
night-
what was your rotation? We didn't talk about this. So you had Rapunzel first.
Rapunzel's first. Lumiere's was the second one.
Okay.
We were at Lumiere's for 2 nights. Lumiere's, the first night was just regular Lumiere's, which worked out really well for us because the Friday night on the cruise just happened to be the formal night.
Sure.
And we were assigned to the fanciest dining room on formal night, so that worked out well.
Because
So
Lumiere's is the fanciest.
Lumiere's
Okay.
is the fanciest one, and then
Besides Palo Alto.
yes, besides Palo, which is the adult only one that costs extra. And then the second night we were assigned Lumiere's again, but it was pirate night, so we had a pirate themed menu. All of the dining locations had the same menu on pirate night, and then the final night was Animator's Palette, which was the one that I was looking forward to the most because you're surrounded by sketches and it kind of comes to life and gets colored in and all this fun stuff. So
it's one of the things that all the Disney cruises are most known for is that Animator's Palette.
So the first night it was called the Snuggly Duckling Platter, which is a selection of charcuterie with pumpernickel and German mustard. And then for my entree, I had the Captain of the Guard's roasted prime rib of beef with a double baked potato, broccoli, sweet roasted characters, and a red wine veal sauce. And then the desserts that we tried that evening were Rapunzel's fry pan sweetbread. So it came in a little looked
pan.
like her little pan.
That's funny.
And it was fry bread dusted with powdered sugar with a chocolate hazelnut sauce. I also tried the creme brulee cheesecake, and the signature dessert there was the Gothel Black Forest Tower, which was rich chocolate creme, cherry compote, and a chocolate cake tower. Very good. And again, the chocolate cake, I was a little worried because when you think of chocolate cake, how ginormous slices you sometimes get. This was
tiny.
Yeah, just a little maybe a half cup circle.
Sure. Vern, what did you have
thing.
the first night at Rapunzel's?
I had the tuna tartare as a appetizer, and I had the sea bass as my meal. And both were just phenomenal. The tuna tartare was better than any of the sushi that you and I have ever shared.
Oh.
I mean,
It was
just
so good.
beyond sushi grade, absolutely melted in the mouth, just phenomenal. I mean, I got Teresa to try it and like it. It was that good.
Yeah?
Really good.
Yeah. And the sea bass, just, light, flaky. Every time the fork sunk in, it just pulled away nice and clean, just melted in the mouth. Fish that doesn't need to be swimming in sauce just comes out as a solid steak and just melts in the mouth. Just, yeah, chef's kiss all the way.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So what was your second night?
So I had breaded and deep fried brie with cranberry chutney, the French onion soup, and then also I had the filet steak it was buttered green beans, crushed potatoes with shallots, red wine jus and a béarnaise sauce on the side. Oh, it was yummy, melt in your mouth, super delicious. And then we had our cute little they did a little anniversary song and a little anniversary dessert for us. And then for the dessert round, I ordered the creme brulee, and then this is where the white chocolate souffle was at.
Ooh.
But the creme brulee was delightful.
Vern, what did you have on night 2 for dinner?
I started with an appetizer of escargot.
Ooh.
And also a iced lobster and jumbo shrimp with green asparagus, horseradish, and cream and dill dressing.
Nice.
And then as my entree, I had the oven-roasted salmon royale with a horseradish crust accompanied by sautéed Swiss chard, truffled cauliflower puree, and a white wine beurre blanc.
Ooh, that sounds good.
It was, again, with the, like I said about the last one, they absolutely do not disappoint on how they prepare their fish dishes. They get the good cuts of good fish, and they prepare them well, and just everything was just so done right.
Isn't it amazing that they're making like hundreds of dishes at a time and they come out so good?
Yeah, to be producing at the volume that they produce and to have it come out that perfectly every time. It just amazing. I was actually listening to one of the podcasts that I listened to, and they were talking about, nobody actually likes lobster. If you cover anything with enough butter and garlic, of course it's going to taste good.
Right.
But in that lobster and shrimp appetizer that I had, the lobster wasn't covered in anything. It was just the lobster.
Oh, wow.
And it was just a good cut from the lobster, prepared properly, and it was good.
Man, we're all getting hungry. All right, third night.
Third night, pirate night. Everyone had the same menu, so it didn't matter what dining room you were in. You were just assigned to the dining room that you had been in the night before. So again, we were at Lumiere's. And for an appetizer, I chose the deep fried Calypso crab cake.
Ooh.
And
crab cake. You don't even like seafood, but crab cake is okay.
Crab cake. That's what I went with. And I also got the baby gem salad. The salads there, if you are a salad person, do not disappoint. It's so flavorful, so delicious. This was kind of like a wedge salad with blue cheese, radish, cherry tomatoes, shallots, sweet pecans, and a Thousand Island dressing. So yummy. So yummy. And then for my entree, I did not get steak. There was a steak on the menu. I did not get it. In fact, I got the jerk chicken is what I got instead.
You know what? I'm surprised. Did you have, or did you see anybody have any of the vegetarian options? Because I know when we go to the parks, you really enjoy that.
Vern tried a couple of the vegetarian. In fact, I think he had a vegetarian. He ordered 2 entrees this evening.
That's a great thing to do.
You'll find out more about that later. But yeah, I had the jerk chicken, which was 48-hour jerk marinated chicken, grilled and served with rice and beans, fried plantains, and a pineapple chili salsa. It was so everything on there. Delicious. There's no salad.
So what's the dessert?
And then for dessert, what did I have for dessert? Before dessert, they had a little pirate parade, and Vern went and danced in the conga line. And
because our wonderful server, Betty, asked me to.
Betty. I asked Betty for recommendations on dessert. She told me to get the brownie off of the children's menu.
Oh.
Did not disappoint. It was very delicious. And then we got the rum-soaked chocolate cake. And then I also got this. Every night I tried the signature dessert. And the signature dessert for this night was a caramel macadamia nut cheesecake tart. Delicious. Served with whipped cream and a caramel ganache. It was yummy.
All right, Vern, what did you have for dinner on Pirates Night?
So at this point, I'm finally getting used to this whole concept of being on a cruise and you can order whatever you want and it's all just included and nobody's going to judge you. And if you can eat it, go ahead and get it. So I'm getting comfortable with this concept. And as I'm looking over the menu, I said, 2 of these appetizers sound really good and I want them. So I had the vegetable samosa. And I had the Angelica's lime marinated shrimp as my appetizers. And they were both great. I mean, I've had vegetable samosas from many different restaurants, and I've had vegetable samosa, handmade, homemade, and this samosa stood up to any samosa I've had anywhere. I mean,
Nice.
it was a very good samosa, and the shrimp was, I mean, well marinated, had good balance. It came with chili, white corn, sweet potato, and onion, and everything was just all balanced nicely together. Excellent flavor profile. Very much enjoyed that. And then for dinner, I'm looking over the menu, and I said, I'm definitely having the cilantro marinated Caribbean grouper fillet, because a grouper fillet just sounded very good, especially since I already knew what they could do with salmon and with tuna. No, I hadn't had tuna yet, but I already knew what they could do with the salmon and with the sea bass. So I said, okay, they're not going to screw up a grouper. And this came with curried rice with mango, lime, and avocado, and red onion and black bean salsa. So I knew I wasn't going to be let down, and I was not let down. It was delicious, light, flaky. Absolutely loved it. But then also looking at the menu, I saw the Barbary Coast falafel. Oh. And I love a good falafel. And they hadn't let me down on anything else. I knew they weren't going to let me down on the falafel. And it was so good. Absolutely delicious falafel.
I want to make sure that people know this. I've talked about this before when we've talked about cruising. Every cruise that you'll ever go on, you can order as much as you want. Mm-hmm. You can order every main course if that's what you want to do. They will bring it to you. Mm-hmm. And I don't know how it was on the Disney cruise, which I guess is a great question for you guys. But on the cruises I've been on, the portion sizes are set up so like you're not going to have anything to go generally. Like it's a good like normal rational person size of a portion. You're not getting a giant 24-ounce steak or anything like that. Is that how it was on the Disney cruise too, where it was like a decent portion size, but not massive?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah, by ordering multiple things, I was quite full, and we needed to take a walk afterwards. I mean, I'm not trying to play this off like I wasn't being gluttonous. I will fully own that. Sure. But they were small enough portions that I wasn't too full. It's not like this was a massive amount of food either. Yeah, no, it's like you described it. Yeah, definitely. They're not oversized at all. Yeah.
All right. Well, we realized that there was so much to talk about that we actually had to split this into a third episode. So join us next week where we conclude the dining and some other stuff about the cruise to wrap us fully up. I mean, there was so much going on in 4 days. We had almost 4 days worth of...
Good thing it was only a 4-day cruise.
Yeah, right? So tune in next week for that.
It's okay. I'll be the only weekly tier without an answer. Make sure you send your questions to Producer James or Producer Vern at trivia@DLWeekly.net.
Welcome back to Trivia Land, where we're having this wonderful little flip of me asking a trivia guy asking another trivia guy questions. How do you feel about how you did?
Mixed.
I expected you to be a lot meaner and nicer at the same time.
James is like, I don't know what to expect over here. I'm lost.
This was a pretty typical night, honestly. Yeah, this is how I do it.
I feel confident that I've got...
I'm confident in your Della.
I feel good about 2 of these.
Oh, yeah. All right. Well, I can tell you...
I'm pretty confident in our Coke answer. Either you or I have the Coke answer, I think.
Let's
find
out.
I actually think it's you.
You did about as well as Tag does, so... I don't know if you want to take that as a compliment or a slam.
Just going to say, is that good? Depends on the week. Sometimes we're great, other times no.
Well, let's find out how you did, shall we?
Yes.
Your first listener submitted question tonight from listener Donna S. Approximately how many animatronics are in Pirates of the Caribbean? Teresa said 125. James said 200. I allowed you a grace of 10 plus or minus. The correct answer that I was looking for, with 75 people and 53 animals, 128.
Teresa!
Okay, what was the breakdown again? 75 people?
And 53 animals.
53 animals?
I honestly thought there were more animals than people.
I am so glad I didn't try to count.
Yeah, that would have been a lot of counting.
Wow.
Wow. Nice job.
Dang.
Sorry. Good job, Teresa.
When you figure in how many people are holding an animal or chasing an animal or...
I suppose, but sometimes they're not actually, like, moving. So, Dang.
Your second regular round question from listener Stacia S. What is the name of Huey, Dewey, and Louie's mother? Both of you answering Della Duck, Donald's sister. The correct answer that I was looking for, I would have accepted Dumbella Duck, or Thelma Duck, or Della Duck.
Yeah.
Good job, James. Dumbella. What'd you say the other ones were?
Dumbella, Thelma, or Della.
Thelma. That is interesting.
So I wonder if Della's is Della a nickname? Like maybe Thelma's her real name and Della's her nickname?
My guess would be that there's comics versus early rendition of the cartoon to newest rendition of the cartoon.
That could be.
Is my best guess.
That
I
makes
would
sense.
have to take the time to vet it to know for certain. Your third regular round question from listener Tara F. How many languages are represented in the Coke Corner displays, and can you name all of them?
Oh, gosh. Now that you say all of them.
Your answers were 5 and 4, and you said English, French, Japanese, and Chinese.
Or Spanish if we're doing 5.
The correct answer that I was looking for was English, Japanese, and Hebrew for the 3 languages.
They need to update their
Hebrew.
display because we had a much better thought process with representing the parks.
Wow. I did not expect
That is interesting,
Hebrew.
though. That's super interesting.
If I remember
3.
correctly from my own reading when I was just kind of looking into this because I found it fascinating, I think it was the first 3 languages that Coke bottles were ever made in. That it was
so
the
nothing
first
to do with
3
Disney.
countries that Coke went out to. Like it wasn't a Disney thing. It was
it was a Coke thing.
Yeah.
Oh, that's very
Suppose
interesting.
that makes sense, yeah.
Okay, well, if they
don't
need
quote me on
updating,
that. That's the
they
best of
can
my
hit-
memory
they can hit us
from
up.
my own reading on my own time.
Dang, that's
Right.
cool.
Cool detail, absolutely.
Yeah. And your fourth and final regular round question from listener Robert S. What's Mickey's middle name? Teresa saying Elias and James saying Thomas. Mickey's middle initial is T for Theodore.
Oh.
You were right on. You were feeling the T, though.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember where I saw that.
Theodore. Mickey Theodore Mouse.
Yep.
I suppose Thomas Mouse doesn't really roll off the tongue in that,
I mean,
that full name.
Because
So.
Theodore Mouse
Yeah, I was
totally
going to say
rolls.
Fauntleroy doesn't really roll off the tongue either.
Fair.
And your bonus question tonight, linked to the previous question, what is Donald's middle name? Both of you knowing that as Fauntleroy.
Yeah.
Donald Fauntleroy Duck.
Got that one.
Well, listeners, how did you do listening at home? How do you feel about how James and Teresa did? Do you think you've got some great questions that can really stump them in the future? Or would you like to stump Tag in the future? If you've got that perfect question and you'd really like to hear it on the podcast, feel free to send that in to trivia@dlweekly.net.
Well, we will be back next week with more Disneyland news and information.
Until then, go out and enjoy the parks.
Please remain seated until the podcast comes to a complete stop and the doors have opened. Then collect your belongings, watch your head, and step carefully from the episode. On behalf of all of our crew, thanks for traveling with us, and we hope you have a happy and memorable visit here at DL Weekly.